Hey everyone, some exciting news for you today. Beginning Wednesday, August 19th from 6:30 to 7:30, we will resume in-person on-campus youth small groups. And so we're excited about this, and in a second, I'm going to give the details on what that looks like and how you can participate in them. But before we do, I just want to give you kind of a little bit of the framework of what's going on behind the scenes and what we've been working on and how we're going to launch these groups. So currently, under the provisions that the government has given us, or the guidelines that the government has given us, there is a provision to run youth ministries using the same guidelines that daycares follow. And so, what we've been doing behind the scenes is really just working through what it looks like to run a youth ministry following all the same safety procedures you would expect from a daycare. And what we've come up with is, I think, a great version of the youth ministry that's both safe and going to provide a wonderful space for students to begin meeting together in person. But obviously, things are not going to look exactly the way that they used to. Running a youth ministry like a daycare does come with some changes. And so, yeah, I'll direct you at the end of this video to a place where you can get all the details and register and things like that. But here's just a general overview of how this will work. So the first step is registration. In order to participate in Wednesday night activities, just like you do on Sunday mornings, to be on campus with us, you will need to go to our website and register. And right now we've got 5 groups, 3 ladies groups and 2 guys groups, each of which can contain a max of 10 students. That's not counting leaders, it's just 10 students plus the leaders. And so you can go online, register for those groups, but then when the group is full, that group is done. And when we max out all 5 groups, that is the most that we can take for that particular Wednesday evening. The groups are divided by gender, so there's ladies groups and guys groups, but we are only making recommendations about who we think should sign up for particular groups. So one group is we'll say ladies group, recommended for middle school girls, another ladies group recommended for high school girls. And the reason we're doing that is so that on the one hand we can still try to cluster people together or students together so that they can be with those people that are closest in their season of life for fellowship and joint discipleship, but at the same time to give enough flexibility to where a group doesn't have just 2 or 3 or 4 people in it, and then we end up having to waste 5 or 6 or 7 slots where people could have come if they wanted to, but we just locked it because it was so restricted to a particular gender and age grade. So that's our combo or hybrid approach to registration. Their groups will be divided by gender, but we've only made recommendations on who should apply or who should register to which one, similar to how we do it on Sunday mornings by recommending certain BFGs for certain hours. So once you do registration, along with the group that you register for, there will be a designated entrance that you go to. And here I would encourage you to download a document which will be on the website called Guidelines for Wednesday Night. And on it, it has a picture of the church. And on that picture, there are markers for where each of these entrances I'm about to reference are located. So one is the gravel lot behind the church. So if you go to the opposite side of the church from where the road is, there's a gravel lot back there, and there's an entrance to the church at that point. The second is the preschool lobby. And then the third is a tiny entrance we don't use that often, a little ways down from the preschool lobby on the south side of the building. And again, all of those entrances are clearly marked on the document Guidelines for Youth Wednesday Night Fellowships, which you can download online. And so depending on which group you're in, you will be assigned to one of those entrances. And then as you go, there will be a leader standing next to an A-frame sign that says Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, all the way down to Group E. And we will just ask that you send your student there, have them line up, and then what will happen is the leader is going to take their temperature, ask them a couple of quick questions, and then assuming that they get through all that without any issues, they will be let into the building, and then they will join up with their small group. We would ask that as students arrive, they be wearing their mask, and expect that they will need to wear their mask for all the times during these youth fellowships, except when they're seated 6 feet apart. So when they get in the room for the discipleship and discussion time, we'll have the chairs arranged 6 feet apart, and then it's not really a worry about masks. But when they're walking through the hallway, using the restroom, or things like that, they will need to have the mask on. Once they're in their groups, those groups are then locked. And the reason we've got multiple entrances and different rooms is because in order to comply with the daycare regulations, we really need to make sure those groups aren't intermingling during the course of the event. And so we've even partitioned out the church property so that different groups have different parts of our fields that they can use for their own outdoor hangout time and fellowship time. And so I would encourage you all, as we prep for this and we get excited for it, because we can and should, and it is going to be, I think, for those who can make it and feel comfortable making it, a great add-on to what we're already doing on Sunday mornings. At the same time, I don't think we should view this, and I don't think it's best for students to view this as 50 people hanging out together at the church. What it really is it's that student and 9 other people hanging out at the church. And we're all doing it in the same location because that helps logistically, both on our end and hopefully for you all. But at the same time, it's not going to be the case that a student comes and is there with 50 other people that they can hang out with. Really, they're there with the 9 other people in their group and their leaders, and they're hanging out together. And those groups are going to be kept isolated pretty well throughout the duration of the event. So that's a general overview of how we're going to be running these Wednesday night fellowships. Again, very excited to get back into them. If you go to naobc.org/naobc-youth-live, you can find at the bottom of that page a little more information about what's going on. It will actually link you to the page where you can do registration and download the guidelines for Wednesday night Youth Wednesday night fellowships, which I do encourage you all to please read through carefully. That will let you know all the social distancing requirements that we have, and also kind of an overview on how things are going to work. Finally, if you have any concerns or questions, please feel free to contact me either by phone or by email. Thanks again, and look forward to catching up with you all when we can.